This is the top 100 Xbox 360 games, the absolute best of the best. Be sure to like the video, subscribing is great as well. Let's dive in. Here we have Shadowrun. I was always going to sneak this in at number 100 here. So Shadowrun is a great game. It was ahead of its time. It was this epic, sort of Counter-Strike-esque shooter game. It's magic meets technology meets sort of a cyberpunk mix between the two as you blast these trolls in this hyper competitive game where you're usually fighting over an artifact. It was great. It had crossplay, so ahead of its time. Here we have Crackdown. Kills for skills, agent. Skills for kills. Go around and become very large as you gather agility orbs, blow things up, and just have fun in this wild sandbox of crazy action. It was all about explosions, all about mayhem, playing alone, playing with another person. Crackdown was a lot of fun. It was a great time. And aesthetically, the game was just really quite nice looking to play as you caused mayhem everywhere. Just like the mayhem of Call of Duty 2 at number 98. It's time to answer the call for this console launch exclusive that really delivered the action, whether you were going through the epic, intense campaign filled to the brim with action, or fighting others online in multiplayer over Xbox Live. Call of Duty 2 really did set the stage for the generation that was to come for Call of Duty as the series began to really grow and prosper from this point forward. Just like the series at 97 with Burnout Paradise, Take Me Down, to the Paradise City, drive, smash, destroy, break things, a killer soundtrack of the era. It's a beautiful game, it's a lot of fun, crazy, epic card destruction, and this sort of seamless multiplayer experience, so you could do this all with other people and race and compete and enjoy just this great last Burnout game. And we also have a really fun experience of Burnout here with Charlie Murder at 96. So this is a really great sort of beat 'em up where it's got this band-esque styling going on. It's a kind of cooperative focused experience where you can play in a group as you level up your characters, brawl, beat things up, destroy stuff, cause mayhem, shoot guns, really use explosions to your advantage. It's a very, very distinct and cool game. We also have Halo Wars in 95. So this was taking the Halo franchise and applying it to a real-time strategy design from the folks at Ensemble. This had various factions, both human and covenant, with various leaders that allowed you to have distinct properties as you went through a campaign, online skirmishes, or local skirmishes as you battle and kind of build up your troops quickly, or just, kind of use a Warthog Rush to finish it off pretty fast. What can I say? Here we go with 94, Borderlands. Ain't no rest for the wicked. So this game was just a lot of fun. I probably could have put this one up higher, but anyways, you go out and it's a RPG shooter looter game where you're going around and enjoying these ridiculous comedic bits, blowing things up, having fun together as you play cooperatively, and just enjoying these over-the-top ridiculous bosses in a sort of semi-open world. Lots of fun to be had. Just like at 93 with Deus Ex, Human Revolution. So this was an interesting entry in the series, and just kind of an interesting, more tactical focused shooter, where there's a lot more choice in your approach and what you do and how you tackle scenarios. It was also a pretty impressive game for the era, and it led towards, of course, the continuation of this one, and it built off of the legacy of the franchise as well, which was quite exciting. Here we have at 92, The Godfather. There May Be a Time. So this was sort of based on the films, obviously, but it was really cool because you sort of fought for terrain and you fought for turf. And it was this never-ending battle as you attempted to take over all of the different areas that you could. It had some really intense action and difficulty to it, and it was a really, really great game. Just like at 91, Stranglehold. So this is all about crazy slow motion action, going just over the top, woo to the max, doves, tequila. It's an absolutely ridiculous game, but it is a lot of fun to play. It is so over the top and ridiculous that I think it will absolutely blow your mind if you've never seen it before. It's just crazy and super cool. At 90 we have Soul Calibur 4, which was the entryway into this generation of combat. It had some Star Wars character tie-ins, and it was just a really cool extension of the roster of characters of Soul Calibur. A wild breath of personalization, epic action and combat as you use weapons to annihilate your folks across the era of time. In Soul Calibur, such a great fighting franchise. Here at 89 we have Sonic Generations. This was a really cool mix of Sonic, basically the best of the best. And that's probably why it's so great. You get the 3D Sonic, you get the throwback Sonic, you get it all in this generational package that looked really good, felt really great, and just delivered some epic map setups and a little bit of a justification for why everyone was coming together for this collection. Here at 88 we have Ghostbusters the video game, which was Ghostbusters 3 in all but the name. It was supposed to actually be what the original script for Ghostbusters 3 was going to be. You get the original voice cast back, you get to hit some of the greatest hits of the Ghostbusters franchise, and you get to zap things. It's a lot of fun. The multiplayer was really cool. You work together to take out ghosts. Just so great, so much fun. Just like at 87 with Dead Rising 2 Off the Record. So this was a continuation of Dead Rising. And what they did was they took Dead Rising 2 and then they threw Frank West into it and changed up the story and added this new, unique amusement park area. Play alone, play together, fight hordes of the undead with lots of different weapons, combos, and fixes. It was everything that Dead Rising 2 was, and they just took it a little bit further. And here we have at 86, Fable 3. Which brought together an epic role-playing adventure that really tried to reach beyond the scope of what they were even able to do as far as the development cycle. This game was focused around you building up your hero and trying to become the king or the ruler, as to say, while dealing with all these problems. And then it had this extensive endgame setup, and it was a really unique Fable experience and a pretty well put together one. 85, Remember Me. So this game is really great with a really unique soundtrack and sort of this excellent vibe of this futuristic, twisted parody environment. And you go around, you do some parkour, you do brawling, you build up combos in order to build up your strength. It's a very neat game, its story is very strong, it's got a very interesting character, and I will never forget Remember Me. 84, Peter Jackson's King Kong, the video game. So you play as Kong, and you also play as the people filming. So you've actually got a lot of the cast of the movie that's come in here to lend their voices and their look to the game. And it's a really good sort of survival horror title as you go through these areas battling these monsters and just trying to make it out alive. Super great. And we also have greatness with 83 and Sleeping Dogs. So this one really doesn't quite get enough praise, I would say, or enough attention from folks. It really has its own distinct flavor of adventure, action, and combat. It gives you a very distinct world that you will visit, and it was just quite a lot of fun with some really unique interactive points within the environment, let's put it that way, that you could use to your advantage when battling people. Here we have at 82, Rockstar Table Tennis. That's right, it's ping pong. Let's do it. So this game was sort of a preparation point for Rockstar to basically get into the technology of the era, and it's actually a really great sports game, and that's why I included it here, because it's genuinely very technically detailed, it's quite a lot of fun, and it's a great level of challenge, just with a huge edge of competition to it. 81, Transformers Fall of Cybertron. So we really didn't know how good we had it. The Transformers games, so good. The High Moon titles here are excellent. This one in Fall, so good. It was basically like a little bit more Transformers meets Call of Duty, but the story was incredible, the multiplayer was action-packed, you were able to do the great escalation cooperative mode, so much fun, it just nails Transformers. Just like this nails the adventure of role-playing at 80, Dragon Age 2. Dragon Age and BioWare were kicking at high steam. You were able to really craft your character and your companions as you go on this epic story where your choices matter and change things, and you just kind of go around questing, exploring, meeting individuals, and of course dealing with the oncoming doom that is looming over the horizon and always in the backdrop waiting for you. Ninja Gaiden 2. So this one was a bloody good time. Really intense combat, gripping action, overly difficult segments, but it was a very good game. The story aspects of it, the cool tie-ins, just you going around as this epic, powerful Hayabusa ninja, absolutely thrashing through your competition. Ninja Gaiden 2 was so good. Or you could become, at 78, the bully. Or maybe not. It depends on your perspective for this character. So you're going around and kind of living the life of a student, but getting into all sorts of trouble as you try to essentially change the status quo and the hierarchy in this area. It's got that sort of Grand Theft Auto vibe, but it's just a little bit more approachable to a degree, but it still has all the charm that you love of Rockstar titles. Just like at 77, Midnight Club Los Angeles. So this is a strangely accurate, detailed world of Los Angeles driving game. The brand tie-ins are so fun. It's hilarious to go in here and just drive around and be like, oh, there's Best Buy and everything. But it's also a really good racing game. And you got lots of traffic, you got lots of interactive points, and it was a great Midnight Club experience. It was very, very well done. And here we have at 76, Saints Row, the original Saints Row game, which was really quite grounded. It was trying to sort of give you an alternative to something like Grand Theft Auto. And it just had this brand of becoming the Saints and building up your gang and making your presence known in this world. And it led way to many sequels and ever wilder action with each entry, but this one was really truly nice and grounded, which was no surprise if you go later on. Here at 75, Catherine. This game is crazy. So you are in some sort of love issue, I guess you would put it mildly, and then you go through these dream sequences where you're trying to climb up boxes in order to survive against all kinds of troubles and problems. It's a really, really weird game, but a super cool one. And it's got some really interesting narrative aspects that it handles. This is another narrative-driven adventure at 74, The Walking Dead. Telltale's really big kickoff moment where you get to originally play as this man trying to take care of this young girl, Clementine. Clementine will remember this long video. You make choices, and those choices will greatly impact the lives of everyone around you who will make it out. And of course, this just had an emotionally crushing tale and style to it. Unlike with 73, Battlefield Bad Company. It's about explosions, it's about fun. This one was so good. The single player, you were a group of people that were just basically rejects going out there for gold that you happened to stumble upon. And then the multiplayer was incredible. The destruction, the chaos, the vehicles, the great Battlefield maps. Bad Company just really absolutely delivered for its time. It was so good. Here we have at 72, Halo 3 ODST. So this is more of a spin-off. You basically play as a group of ODST, jumping in and trying to, well, survive, and then also you play in a different sort of time aspect as the rookie trying to figure out what happened to your squad, and then you get these sort of flash sequences and you play as that trooper and experience what they're experiencing. Very cool. Here at 71, we have Darksiders 2, where you get to play as yet another of the Horsemen, going off on your own adventure, doing dungeons, battling things, hacking, slashing, and adventuring through a variety of unique challenges as you attempted to deal with the fallout and everything of the overall series of Darksiders. This is a great game and definitely one worth checking out if you've somehow missed it over the years. Somehow. Here we have at 70 Resident Evil 5. So this one was where things really were starting to get more action-packed. That being said, I quite enjoyed it. Fun co-op, a neat setting, a very different vibe, crazy chaos, variation on zombies. I just have kind of a fond memory of sitting there with a buddy or two going through this, playing it, and having some fun in a Resident Evil setup that was distinct to this generation of gameplay, I guess you would say. Here at 69, Crysis 2. Can it run Crysis? Yes, it can. So the second Crysis really was a lot more, I guess you would say, console-focused, if that makes sense. And that's why I kind of kept this one in here. You got a neat story where you're in a new, kind of more urban environment, and they really changed things up. And you either kind of like that direction for the series, or maybe you don't. They're very different games between Crysis 1 and 2, but it's a second entry that's really neat for the console at the time. Here at 68, Call of Duty World at War. Yeah! This has one of the best openings to a video game ever. So you got this really gritty, intense single-player campaign, then you had the epic, gripping multiplayer that built off of Call of Duty 4, and finally, the debut of Zombies. Yep, Zombies was in this one as a secret unlock, which was so neat to discover. Here at 67, we have Saints Row the Third. This one is over the top. It's ridiculous, and it's just a lot of fun. I really do love Saints Row 3. I know a lot of people have some issues, as this is when the series started to get a little ridiculous and wild and too over the top for some people. But I still had so much fun visiting this large open world, exploring things, battling, taking over the different areas, doing all of the side missions, playing cooperatively, and just enjoying Saints Row. Here is filled with fun at 66, Viva Pinata, Trouble in Paradise. You're managing a garden, alone or with another player if you'd like to, as you will have to deal and try to save and help your pinatas. You kind of make them, you do silly games, mini games, you collect things, and you just take care of this expansive selection of critters that make up your garden. Viva Pinata is seriously a really great and detailed game. Here we have at 65, Mass Effect 3. While this one didn't necessarily stick the landing, it was still an incredible journey, an extensive game, many side adventures that you could go on, emotional stakes, a party that you would build up, and just choices that had carried through from the first and second Mass Effect towards some sort of pre-selected colored ending. No, it's still a great game if you kind of forget about the ending of it. 64, Battlefield 3. While the campaign in this one, so for story and stuff, it had some really epic moments. You get in the jets, you go on the tanks, you get to see some really cool things, carrying your guys, shots whip by. But the multiplayer was where this really genuinely shined. Excellent selection of maps, cool modern combat. Battlefield 3 was definitely a vibe for its time and a great experience overall. Here at 63, we have Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. This one really built upon the foundation of Assassin's Creed and just kind of continued with it in a new and exciting way, while also building upon the previous entries' mechanics. Brotherhood really did deliver a cool setting, slick combat, and just a more, I want to say almost action-driven setup from the Creed that came before it. And yeah, just a fun little adventure with a lot of chaos that you can cause along the way. 62, Diablo 3. This was really impressive for the time. Seriously, the dungeon crawling experience of Diablo 3 with the multiplayer integration, everything like that, on console was really cool to have. It allowed you to grind through the hordes of various monsters and work through the story, and of course continue to grind over and over again as you aim to gather more and more, well, loot. It's a loot game. It is, yeah, for sure. 61, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Vegas 2. So this was the last traditional Rainbow Six game that we got. It featured a story with a focus on co-op if you'd like, and also really intense online multiplayer. A few shots could end everything. The combat was crazy tense, fast-paced, and really tactical. It gave you the tools and it built upon the foundation of Vegas 1 quite nicely. Here at 60 we have LA Noire. So this game was really quite groundbreaking for its kind of motion capture, and you're playing a detective, but it's less about sort of roaming around and doing, I guess you would say, the traditional Rockstar stuff. Maybe a little bit it has that, but this was more focused on, are they telling the truth? What is this person saying? Being an actual detective, and I don't think there are many games out there like that even yet today, which is interesting. Here at 59 we have Dishonored, a world of really being shaped by what your choices are in the game. It's got action, it's got stealth, but it's also got consequences. How you interact with the world and how you cause problems for others will change the health of the world and everything you see along the way. And that's what made this really, really quite interesting, was just those choices that you made and everything around you being impacted by it. This is 58, Dead Space. So the original Dead Space was terrifying, really well set up, and quite interesting for its time, as you got a story that kind of seemed a little straightforward. Like, it's messed up. Those creatures ripping everybody apart right now are terrifying monsters. But there's more to it. The psychological elements, the surprises, the twists, the turns. The original Dead Space was a really, really cool game, and I think it's still actually aged pretty well. Here at 57, we have, well, Dark Souls. So in Dark Souls, you kind of die a bunch and you fight giant creature things and you try to survive, and you gather at the fire pit, the bonfire, in order to use your stuff, and you'll just be fighting many, many monstrous foes along the way as you attempt to survive and build yourself up and hopefully not see the death screen too many times over. Here we have at 56, Mass Effect. So this is the original Mass Effect experience. This is the one where you are becoming Shepard. You're going out into the cosmoses and really trying to make a name for humanity. There is a deeper thing at play, and you will make choices that will impact the future stories of the Mass Effect games that come afterwards. A little bit of exploration, but you mostly go through the story and you meet characters and you do all these crazy things. It was an epic adventure. 55, A Lost Odyssey. So this was a really cool, distinct game for Xbox, and it gets a lot of praise, but I think a lot of people don't really know much about Lost Odyssey. So it's just got this crazy opening of action and combat, and yeah, it's a really neat combat system, and then just this expansive selection of places you go and you do all this questing and all this exploration, and it's fantastic. Just like the gripping action at 54 of Dead or Alive 4. So this one still looks good today. The Dead or Alive games have always been a staple of the Xbox consoles, and Dead or Alive 4 just absolutely delivered. There's even a fun little surprise character in there. But yeah, you go through the various battle sequences fighting each other with these iconic characters across absolutely stunning environments that, again, this holds up really well today. Here at 53, we have Minecraft. So Minecraft Xbox 360 Edition was awesome. It came out on a special day for me, and it was something I spent so much time playing, and the updates took forever to come out, but this was really cool, kind of building from nothing and then working up, and then of course we have Bedrock and everything today, but the 360 edition of Minecraft was certainly special. Here at 52, we have Lost Planet. Big fan of the Lost Planet games. They are really great. You're on this planet that's frozen, and you know what? Over time, it's kind of warming up. But you need energy, and you use these mechs, and the multiplayer was crazy as you use mechs and battle each other and shoot each other. And in the campaign, you'd be fighting all these acrid monsters, and they have all these glowies, and there's snow pirates, all kinds of weird stuff in this one. Here at 51, we have LEGO Star Wars: The Complete Saga. So this combined the original LEGO Star Wars game that came out when I was younger with the original trilogy Lego Star Wars game that came out also when I was quite young. And it put the two of them together with expanded content, tons of collectibles. I 100% of this one. I played so much of this. It was the ultimate sort of Star Wars and then Lego adventure. And it's just perfection even to this day. It's amazing. Here at 50, we have Assassin's Creed. So this is the original Assassin's Creed. This one takes you way back to the day where you were kind of really discovering the foundation of what would eventually become a massive franchise. The game at the time was truly impressive. It was historical. It gave you this combination of stealth gameplay with story and a little bit of choice in how you approach the scenarios, and also being a little bit stealthy to hide into the distance. Here at 49, we have Splinter Cell Conviction. So this is one that kind of mixes intense combat, quick deaths, stealth gameplay, and a really gritty story where our lead character is really looking for something important, something that gets him a little bit angry, and it takes you to these wild places with these neat moments across its narrative. And I think this was a really great Splinter Cell game to highlight here on this listing. Here we have at 48, Skate 2. So this is the best skate. Anyways, it's skateboarding, and you get to explore it sort of alone if you want, and you kind of do a campaign of sorts, or you play with others, and you just go around shredding and skateboarding and adventuring and having a great time. That's really what it is. You kind of get your character out there, and you just do all these crazy interactive skateboarding mechanics and movements, and you just have fun skateboarding around. Here we have at 47, Forza Horizon. So this is the original Horizon experience, where you will be driving fast cars across an open world, doing all kinds of crazy things in order to get more points, to get more cars, to open up further elements and places of the festival as you continue to go further and explore more and do more and get more cars and just have a great time. It spawned a very successful racing franchise, and it built off of the success of motorsport. Here we have Dance Central 3 at 46. So this is basically the combination of the dancing elements of the series. It used the Kinect to its full potential. It had some really great visuals, epic, cool, smooth controls to use with your hands. And I know the Kinect's got to get some love too, right? Seriously, this was a very impressive Kinect game. They absolutely nailed it the whole way through, and I really had a great time playing this. This was genuinely well put together, and an excellent dancing game at that. Here at 45, we have Max Payne 3. Your buddy, he's fallen on some hard times. He's got the slow-mo, he's got the movements, but he's definitely a little out of it, and he's got some emotional problems that are definitely causing him to not move as smoothly and swiftly as he used to. And yeah, the narrative's kind of fun. He's thrown himself off into this wild world after the previous games, and he needs your help. Here at 44, we have Fight Night Champion, which was just kind of the pinnacle of boxing games. You had some of the all-time greats. You had gripping, intense action, you had story combat, you had multiplayer combat that you can engage with. Fight Night Champion really was about being the champion. The authenticity for the time, and it's a game that I still think actually holds up and plays pretty great even today. It's a genuinely impressive offering for the series. Here at 43, we have Street Fighter 4. Yeah, that's right, get out there and fight with a massive roster of characters as you battle along and try to be the best locally or online with many different modes. Again, a crazy roster of characters, distinct aesthetics and visuals, and just a really well put together roster of options as you went along, battling other people and just enjoying the crazy combos that you would build up in order to annihilate all of your foes out there. Here at 42, we have Transformers War for Cybertron, which was the first entry in the two kind of parter where we had, well, War and Fall of Cybertron, which we talked about earlier. But this one really set the foundation for intense action, a really well-designed setup that actually loved the characters of Transformers, nailed the designs of them, and gave you some really cool, epic, immersive Transformers action in car or as a character. Here at 41, we have Project Gotham Racing 3, PGR 3. This was a very strong launch experience for the Xbox 360, and one that I actually think still holds up and showcases the console pretty well even today. It brought fast-paced racing, an experience of collecting kudos, whether you were doing so alone or with some kind of online element, as you trying to race and be the best you could be. Just like with number 40 here, Dead Space 2. So this is all about continuing the adventure of, well, basically Clark's story here. You'll be trying to deal with more of these monstrous menaces in a new place where you were trying to get treatment to deal with the past, and the past just continues to catch up on you as you are battling more monstrous things, upgrading your abilities, enjoying a more intense experience, whether you're doing that in the single player or competing against others in the online multiplayer. Here at 39, we have Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock. So this one really was kind of the pinnacle of the, well, Guitar Hero franchise. I mean, there's many great Guitar Hero games out there. But Guitar Hero 3 really is the legendary experience. You work through the story, and you could also play against others, play with others, enjoy a great set list of music, and just rock out as you try to get enough points in order to unlock new characters and new ways to continue to rock and roll. Here at 38, we have Gears of War 2. This took everything you loved about Gears of War and expanded upon it with massive battles, a new seriously wild over-the-top moments, intense online multiplayer action, horde modes origins as you battled against waves of these monstrous foes from below. Yes, the Locust. What are you going to do but destroy them? Play it cooperatively and enjoy this expansive emotional tale. 37, Batman Arkham Asylum. So this one really kind of set the stage for even, I guess you would say, superhero games today as far as the combat systems. This has an incredible Joker performance. Batman just kind of at his best. You get to explore this expansive island where you move around from spot to spot to spot, battling against these foes, using a little bit of stealth, and of course becoming the Batman in the best of ways. Here at 36, we have Spec Ops: The Line. This one is crazy. The multiplayer, but the campaign really drives this one. It's got some great, crazy twists and turns, some psychological damage, and it really makes you think about your actions in a shooter game. And I thought that was really distinct, because most shooter games, you just kind of blast stuff for a few hours or so and then it ends, and you don't really think about it. But Spec Ops: The Line, for the first time, really made me think about it. 35, Fear. Are you scared? Fear is really quite interesting, psychologically messed up FPS horror. It's so good. It delivers on the scares, the terror, the weirdness, the gripping sort of combat, the fast-paced shooting, and just some really wild, scary moments throughout as you kind of deal with this particular special menace that likes to reveal themselves every now and then. Here at 34, we have Halo 4. This game was pushing the Xbox 360 to its absolute limit as far as visuals and technology. You got an emotional story that continued the events of Halo 3. You got this right towards the end of the generation. It had really extensive multiplayer. It had an incredibly extensive Forge mode. It had this really interesting sort of take Spartan Ops, and you're working together through story. 33, Dead Rising. The original Dead Rising experience. You're trapped in this mall, you're trying to survive, you're Frank West, you're here for the story. The story goes beyond what you might expect, as there are layers, and there's post-game, and you just go around gathering whatever sort of tools you can to try to survive against the undead. Nighttime, a little scarier. Psychopaths? Oh, definitely. Good luck out there as you gather weird clothes, food, items, and anything else you can that allows you to find the full story. 32, Call of Duty Black Ops 2. So this was an extensive futuristic shooter that had an intense campaign where you were dealing with this powerful menace that was building up around society. You had the crazy zombies with Transit, and past that DLC that just expanded zombies to massive lengths. And of course the intense multiplayer that everybody loves, featuring a great selection of maps and futuristic setups. It just really delivered the Call of Duty action that everybody really loved. Here at 31, Left 4 Dead 2, a cooperative focused experience that I guess you can play by yourself and the AI will help you out, But no, Left 4 Dead is so much fun. There's the story, I guess, chapters that you would just play over and over again. There's survival mode, there was the competition, sort of battling versus mode. The Left 4 Dead 2 is awesome. And it's not as great as it is on PC with all the modding, but it's still a pretty fun time on consoles, and I had a lot of great memories with this one playing with friends. 30. The Witcher 2, Assassins of Kings. So this one, an incredible role-playing experience, brought the full-scale style of The Witcher to console. And for the time, it was really, really quite impressive. The combat, the magic, the action, working through this extensive story, and making some level of choice as you go about tackling all of these scenarios. The Witcher 2 is quite an experience, and it led towards The Witcher 3. Here at 29, we have Battlefield Bad Company 2. This one took everything people loved about the first Bad Company and just increased it. Another fun campaign with a great cast of characters returning as you continue to deal with the fallout events of the last one and leaving you with a crazy cliffhanger. The online multiplayer was just absolute perfection. Crazy combat, explosions, destroying the environments, and just causing mayhem in the best of Battlefield ways, on foot or in vehicles. 28. The Orange Box. So if you wanted Half-Life, if you wanted Team Fortress, if you wanted Portal, the Orange Box was sort of the ultimate combination. I don't know if we'll ever get a combination of games quite like this, a compilation package that delivers just these heavy hitters to the degree that the Orange Box does. It is a genuinely impressive package. And if you look back upon it even today, it is really, really impressive and amazing. 27, Far Cry 3. You're just trying to go out and have some fun with some friends, and then you meet this guy that tells you about the definition of insanity, and now you have to go around battling, climbing towers, driving vehicles, just driving boats in the water, climbing, battling, causing explosions, and trying to free territory, and, well, basically find out what happened to your friends as you become more and more ruthless over the course of the story, and as you gather more items. Here, at 26, we have Rock Band, the original Rock Band. I thought about this extensively, and I figured the one that really set the stage should be the one that we showcase here. There's other great Rock Band games, but the original Rock Band really was this epic combination of the whole band. Guitar Hero did just a guitar, and Rock Band allowed you to have the drums, the microphone, and you really felt like a crew going across the country and the world just to rock it out. Rock Band was truly special. Here at 25, we have Assassin's Creed 2. This is the most well-loved feather collecting game, I think, of all time. Now, Assassin's Creed 2 really did build upon the foundation of Assassin's Creed and really helped form this into an actual franchise with a character that you cared about and stakes that actually mattered as you used a little bit of stealth, used a little bit of edge and action, and tried your way at becoming the ultimate assassin, as you did over time. Here at 24, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. The stakes were high. The invasion was happening. You'll battle across this campaign that really takes place across the globe with high stakes as America is battling for its freedom. Then there was Spec Ops, where you worked together, or I guess alone too, to take on challenges that were really intense and emotionally traumatizing for friendships. And then the multiplayer, of course, one-man army, noob tubes, quickscope is all the fun of online Call of Duty. 23, Fallout 3. This is a really extensive role-playing experience where you make choices. You're trying to find your father, but you probably don't care too much about that. Or, well, you should. The father was a pretty big actor at the time. Anyways, you really kind of shape your character, explore the wasteland, make choices, adventure at your own pace, and then of course the DLC for this game was really, really neat and interesting as well. Fallout 3 is an all-time classic. Here at 22 we have Dragon Age Origins. So this is where you kind of continue your events and enjoy the action of a build-up from BioWare at their prime as far as role-playing games, the Dragon Age franchise, allowing you to gather a group of companions and really having nice emotional stakes as you work together to explore, survive, I guess you would say, to a degree as well, and then build yourself up in order to be the hero they need. Here at 21 we have BioShock. the original BioShock game. Rapture was just a really, truly unique experience, going under the sea to this fantastical world with deep themes, gripping adult mature combat and action as you use these powerful abilities to harness these elemental aspects and then use all these sort of guns to blast and battle your way through this really well done story. And it was such a unique world even today. Here at 20 we have Forza Motorsport 4, the pinnacle of the motorsport franchise. Forza Motorsport 4 was remarkable. It's what actually got me really into racing games. I love this. The cars, the maps, I guess the tracks you would say, the Bernese Alps, absolutely majestic landscapes as you competed locally with bunches of vehicles or online and just enjoyed the magic of Forza. Here at 19 we have Alan Wake, which I consider to be one of the best games ever made. This is a Remedy classic. I'm Alan Wake. I'm a writer. You're trying to find out, well, basically what happened with your wife and you, and deal with the writing and the pages and the batteries, and just trying to survive and fight against the darkness using your flashlight. An incredible experience, and one of just the defining games of 360. Here we have at number 18, Borderlands 2, which continued and really built upon Borderlands with probably the protagonist's best foe. I mean, Handsome Jack is all over the series today. You can't escape that guy. But more bandits, more action, more open world, more guns, more crazy, more role-playing, more fun, more co-op adventures to have together. Borderlands 2 just had more of everything, and it was pretty great because of it. Here at 17, we have Tomb Raider. So this was right near the end of the generation, Lara Croft's rebooted experience as she becomes a survivor. This game was mind-blowing. I remember picking this up day one, going out into the open, like kind of first area where you see the light coming in, and being like, wow, this is amazing. It's gnarly, it's intense. You get to see this young woman's journey as she begins to prepare and try to survive through these crazy challenges, and they absolutely nailed the tone and design of this game. It's fantastic. Here at 16, we have Call of Duty Black Ops, the original Black Ops experience, which brought you this intense, emotional, psychological campaign, probably the best of the series. Then you got the epic multiplayer, which had a really cool, distinct design and aesthetic to it, with this cool waiting system and these epic sort of special fun modes. And then, of course, the zombies was the pinnacle of the entire franchise. You had the first game zombies upgraded, you had Kino Tortoden, you had these perfect maps and levels. Here at 15, we have Grand Theft Auto 4. Hey cousin, want to go bowling? Anyways, we're showing the Lost here, but Grand Theft Auto 4 is just a lot of fun. Cool open world to explore and take in, and a great story set up. You can go on dates, you can cause mayhem, you can get those stars, you can get bothered by people trying to call you every 2 minutes. The multiplayer was fun, the single player was great. It's a legendary game. Here at 14, we have The Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion. I think most people kind of remember when they first stepped out into the world of Oblivion. It was kind of groundbreaking, incredible role-playing, an epic story, a neat setup as you go into the worlds of Oblivion Beyond, and you just kind of forged your character and explored all these places and saw all these things and did all these quests and just had a great time role-playing. It really was epic. Here we have at 13, Batman Arkham City. Once again, step into the shoes of the Batman. This continued, well, from Arkham Asylum, but now you got this massive open world to explore with more villains and more stakes and more things you could do and more Riddler trophies to find. And it really just had, again, an incredible Joker performance. Likewise with Batman, but yeah, it was a lot of fun to play. Great Batman times. Here at 12, we have Gears of War 3, Brothers to the End. So Gears 3 really capped off the emotional stakes of the entire franchise. It had an epic, cooperative, focused campaign that you could enjoy as you worked together to battle against the Locust and the Lambent. And then you had the, well, intense multiplayer, very crazy action. There was the expansion of Horde mode. Gears 3 just really had everything. All the action, all the intensity, everything they had learned across the series Here at 11, we have Halo Reach, the swan song of Bungie and Halo at the time. It had an intense emotional campaign where you get to see this troop trying to survive on this doomed planet of Reach. The crazy multiplayer with Forge mode and custom games. It just went on and on and on. You had Firefight. Oh, Halo Reach was just perfect as you tried to survive all by yourself right at the end there, eh? Here at number 10, we have Fable 2, which I consider one of the greatest role-playing games ever. The morality, the intensity of it, building your character and choosing the path you will take as you go out and explore and adventure and out and beyond. Fable 2 is just incredible. You could be like a huge homeowner on the market running the whole thing. No, it's really fun, and then some cooperative elements too. Fable 2 was just amazing. It's really, really great role-playing. Here at 9, we have Fallout New Vegas, which built off the foundation of Fallout 3 and sent you to Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. Explore open desert, go to the strip, make crazy choices as you're just a person trying to figure out what exactly happened when you were trying to deliver a parcel. What happened to it, and kind of getting a little sidetracked along the way as you try to, survive this distinct wasteland that was very different from what Fallout 3 had. Here at number 8, we have BioShock Infinite, which is just one of the most perfect games ever made. BioShock Infinite is just incredible. It's a standalone story, but yet also ties in beautifully to the overall experience as you are guided to find Elizabeth. Elizabeth has certain powers, and you get to use all these cool, unique skills and abilities that you harness yourself as you try to go up into the clouds and just make your way through this wondrous land. Here at 7, we have Red Dead Redemption, the ultimate cowboy adventure. A fun multiplayer where you get to fool around and mess around with others, and an intense campaign with emotional stakes and crazy adventures to be had. As emotional things happen, as you get to the end, you really discover that, not everything works out perfectly. But no, Red Dead Redemption is just a legendary experience and just a great one from Rockstar. Here at 6, we have Mass Effect 2. Took everything from Mass Effect and just, built upon it. More choice, more story, more decisions, more craziness. High emotional stakes as you go with your companions and go on a wild journey and just try to survive and deal with the threat that continues to grow and build towards Mass Effect 3. But yeah, Mass Effect 2 just was a very special game, and I think that was the case for many. Here at number 5, we have Grand Theft Auto 5. Yeah, this game continues to follow us to this day. Run from it, hide from it, Grand Theft Auto is always there. The multiplayer, the campaign, just something that got updated so many times over the years with new stuff for you to do, and just explore this incredibly detailed and expansive world, doing whatever you want, stealing cars, fighting others, and just having fun in Grand Theft Auto. The game really was quite perfect, and it just offered everything you wanted. Here at number 4, we have The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. So I don't really need to say much about this. It's one of the greatest role-playing games ever made. Obviously, if you play on PC or later consoles to get mods and stuff, but the original Skyrim was pretty groundbreaking for a console. The amount of narrative and choice and adventuring and questing you could do. Skyrim is really quite special to so many people, and it's something that they just keep releasing over and over and over again because people keep buying it. Here at number 3, we have Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, the juggernaut of an entry in the series. The intense campaign, the action, the characters, the mind-blowing multiplayer with prestiging and classes and so much. This game really was the definitive of the series, as it just was the kickstarting thing to create the massive series that it is today. It all started with Call of Duty 4, and that's why it definitely earns its spot here very high on the list. Right up with number 2, Gears of War. This launched the 360 basically in terms of just being a powerhouse game that showcased what it could do. Everyone was blown away. This is what sold me on the 360. The chainsawing, the campaign with a cooperative focus, the epic, intense, wild multiplayer with host powers and connectivity stuff. And the original Gears was a time and a half and a special time, and it was a great game. Just absolute perfect. And here we have at number 1, obviously Halo 3. This was the definitive game of the entire Xbox 360, the gripping end to the Halo trilogy. Master Chief fighting against multiple forces, looking for Cortana. Then you had the multiplayer with the extensive DLC and new Hopper playlists and Forge and custom games. And Halo 3 was perfect. And here you go, the top 100 Xbox 360 games completed.